Hey everyone, welcome in. So today we're going somewhere a little different. We're going to take a deep dive into something really personal, something that I think we all can connect with, and that is reconnecting with your inner child. That younger version of you.
That spark.
Yeah. And when we think back to our childhoods, I think a lot of times we can remember those really pure moments of joy, the chocolate-covered fingers,
Absolutely.
Crayola crayon masterpieces all over the wall, uh, running around outside until you're just completely exhausted.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what happened. What happened to that joy? What happened to that freedom?
It's such a powerful question to ask. And I think it's one that we all grapple with at some point in our lives. We go from this place of such unbridled potential and enthusiasm to a world that often asks us to kind of shrink ourselves down.
Yeah, it's like we trade in those crayons for a keyboard. We
Hmm.
trade in those skin knees from playing outside for sitting at a desk. And those really big feelings that we used to express so freely, they get kind of pushed down and we learn to, keep them contained.
Right. And we start to prioritize things like productivity and achievement over just the simple joy of being. And so much of that messaging starts when we're really young.
Totally. But here's the thing I really want to emphasize today. That child, that inner child, that spark within you, it never really goes away.
It's true.
It's still there.
Mm.
And I think the reason why this idea of connecting with your inner child has become so popular lately is because it's a way for us to tap back into that source of joy and creativity and wonder that we may have lost touch with.
Yeah, it's not about like literally becoming a child again or anything.
Mhm.
It's more about approaching ourselves and our lives with that same sense of curiosity and playfulness that we had when we were younger.
Exactly. It's like holding up a mirror,
Yeah. Mm.
and seeing those parts of yourself that maybe you've forgotten about or that you've pushed aside. And it can be a really powerful experience.
Oh, absolutely. Because when we reconnect with that inner child, we can start to heal some of those old wounds that we might be carrying around. The times when we were told we weren't good enough or smart enough or pretty enough. We can offer ourselves that compassion and understanding that we maybe didn't receive back then.
I love that. And it's not just about healing those old wounds either. It's also about rediscovering the things that light us up,
Hmm.
the things that make us feel alive. Like, what were you passionate about when you were a kid?
Oh, gosh. So many things. I was really into art and
Yeah.
music and animals. And I love to read. I was just like such a curious little kid, always wanting to learn new things. What about you?
Oh, gosh. I was a total performer. I mean, I would put on these elaborate plays and musicals for my family, and I would just make everyone watch.
That's adorable.
And I would dress up in these crazy costumes.
Mhm.
I love to make people laugh, and I love to like create these worlds. And thinking back on it now, I can see how those passions have really carried through into my adult life.
I think that's so cool how those early passions can kind of plant the seeds for what we end up doing as adults. Even if it's not a direct correlation, there's still like a thread that connects them.
100%. And I think that's one of the really beautiful things about connecting with your inner child. It's like you can start to see those threads,
Yeah.
you know? You can see how your past has shaped who you are today. And it can give you a lot of clarity about what you want to do with your life moving forward.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even about like making any big changes or anything. Sometimes it's just about giving yourself permission to be a little bit more playful, a little bit more spontaneous. Maybe you start coloring again, or you take a dance class, or you just spend more time in nature.
Yes. It's those little things,
Mhm.
It's giving yourself permission to be silly and have fun. And I think one of the best things about this whole concept is that it doesn't have to be complicated.
Mm.
You don't have to go on some big retreat or spend hours meditating. It can be as simple as just taking a few minutes each day to check in with yourself, to ask yourself, hey, little one, how are you doing today? What do you need?
It's such a beautiful way to cultivate self-compassion and to remind ourselves that we're worthy of love and care no matter what.
I love that. I think that's a great place to leave it for today. So if you're listening, I encourage you to just take some time this week to connect with your inner child. Maybe journal about it. Maybe do something creative. Maybe just have a conversation with them in your head and just see what comes up. You might be surprised at what you discover. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Yeah, thank you for listening. We'll
Mhm.
see you next time.